have this variable here, which is final percent grade. So these are all of the students, one participant per row, and here's how they did on different quizzes, the final exam, total in the course, and then final percent grade. So when you want to change a variable into a categorized or between subject variable, then you can use the command called recode into different variables. So you go to transform, recode into different variables. Recode into same variables is the same exact command as different variables, but it will overwrite your variable. So you basically never want to choose this option here, because if you make a mistake, it means that data is gone. So once you go to transform, recode into different variables, you'll see this kind of dialog window. These are your variables here. And you basically want to follow this form that it gives you at the top of the window. Your input variable, that's the original variable, will be transformed or recoded into your output variable. So to do this, we just move final percent grade over here. Right now, it's a question mark for the output variable because SPSS doesn't know what variable you want to use. And it knows that percent variable is a numeric variable, so it's changed that up here. The first thing you have to do is push this button, old and new values. And here in the new window, it's split up into all of your old values. That's the original variable on the left side, and then the new variable, or the one that you're going to get SPSS to create, on the right side. All of the changes that you're going to make have to be listed in this box here before SPSS will accept them. So to do this, let's say that we want to describe how people are doing in the course in their final percent grade based on what percent they got. So we can define a value or a range, or you can also use these ones on your assignments, but I'm going to show you how to use range. So starting from the bottom, if we go 0 to 49, we can call that a 1, add it to the box here. Then 50 to 54. Once these are listed in the box, you have to make sure that you've defined all of the values that appear in the original variable. So every value from 0 to 100 are accounted for in the new variable. You also have to make sure that these values, whatever they are, match exactly what is written in the data set. So if I was using a variable that had letters instead of numbers, then SPSS is case sensitive, so it would have to match exactly before SPSS would understand it. If you happen to make a mistake when you're filling this out, you can click any one of these, and then you can make a change appear. And once you finish, you just press the change button and it'll commit that change to the list. So this little list here gives you a summary of exactly what SPSS is going to do. After you're finished, you can just press continue, and then you have to fill out this area here. So I'm going to call this percent descriptor, and you can give this variable a label, which makes it more informative. And then once you do that, you have to push this change button. And once you do that, that question mark is now changed. So SPSS now knows that it's going to take this original final percent grade variable, change it to a variable called percent descriptor, using all of the old and new values that you've already inputted. If you wanted to save your syntax so that you can check it later or to make sure that you did it correctly, then you can press the paste button, but otherwise you can press the OK button just to run it. So my output will pop up here, but because I haven't asked for any output, it won't show anything interesting. But if I go to the end of my data set, then this new variable that I created with the command will be there. Here's our label. And if we double click here on 22, we can take it to the data view. And what you should always do once you create a new variable is put it beside the original variable and then check to make sure that everything's been done properly. So you just pick it up and move it, drag it. I'm going to arrange percent in ascending order. I'm going to remove the decimal places here. And now we have a descriptor. So the one group is 41, 42, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, so one more thing is that we've created this new variable by telling SPSS what values belong. So what values in this original variable belong in a 1 in the new variable, but SPSS still doesn't know what this 1 means, even though it just created that variable. So in order to label that, we have to go into this values column in the variable view, and we have to define what these numbers mean. And again, you have to add them to the box, otherwise SPSS won't know. We add that in, we press OK, and now when we go over here, we'll be able to use this button in order to see the labels if we choose. It's not changing what the values are, it's just changing how they're displayed.